Good evening. I'm Kadi Chan. Thanks for being here. Thousands of people marched through Manhattan and across the country as part of a movement called Rise Up October. Miles Miller is live for us right now on the Lower East Side, where more than a few people were taken into police custody. Miles.
And Kadi, you can see they're still here at the 7th Precinct Station House. They're waiting for their friends to be released. And many of those people who were released without being charged. And I just spoke with police here at police headquarters not far from here, and they say they expect to release a tally of just how many people were arrested. The Rise Up October protest demanding an end to police brutality started out peaceful, led by Oscar-winning director Quentin Tarantino. A similar set of protests were held today in Chicago, outside a meeting of police chiefs from around the country, trying to figure out how to work with community policing. Then, as protesters were wrapping up, police started moving in, making arrests.
There was a gentleman who was in the area as well who was pulled from 3 different limbs by several officers, pushed from his head and his neck.
The barricades were up, and then the police started pushing. They started saying that everybody needs to go on the sidewalk, and I heard people start screaming, "Let them through, let them through," and the police, they just all started barreling into that one area.
Police arrested several protesters and took them to the 7th Precinct Station House, where police stood outside and barricades are up to keep protesters away. Several of them were released without being charged.
The cops jumped on us, they seized on us, they pulled us down.
Data compiled by the Guardian newspaper shows nearly 930 people have been killed by police in the United States so far this year. And Police Commissioner Bill Bratton is at that meeting of police chiefs in Chicago. We're told he's been monitoring the developments surrounding the Rise Up October protests tonight. That's the very latest. Live at the 7th Precinct Station House in Lower East Side, Miles Miller, Peaks 11 News. Back to you.
Miles, let me ask you very quickly, what were some of the charges that these people were slapped with?
It's interesting because I asked a number of the people who I spoke to when they came out, and they said they weren't charged with anything. A lot of these people, police saw them climb onto Father Duffy Square. In Father Duffy Square, there's a statue of Father Duffy, and police said that they were climbing onto the statue. In other situations, we're told some of the people were walking in the streets, and police from the Strategic Response Unit were trying to get people out of the streets. And they said, if you're in the streets, we're going to arrest you. That's what they did, and that's why many of the people were here at the 7th Precinct. They were taken here, and they were not charged, but they were released.